All right, guys. So I have a new video here today for you guys. I've been working on trying to find some kind of like off meta deck. Like I don't like playing Zoro. I don't like playing against Zoro, and I don't want to play Whitebeard. I don't want to play, Kinemon or Kid or stuff like that. Because I don't want to be just kind of like following the meta, right? And then even Garp is kind of becoming that. He's becoming the like meta off meta. So, I'm just trying to look for other decks that are fun. This isn't that great. And, I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with wanting to win. I mean, that's fine. If you're like, I want to win the game, so I'm going to play Garp or I'm going to play Zoro, that's great. That's honestly like I agree with you and you're making the best decision. Um, but I just don't, I just like kind of breaking the mold kind of thing. So I've been looking at another leader to play. I've been looking at like mono blue crocodile and stuff like that. And I've settled on blue purple crocodile, especially with what's been announced for set 4. Looks really good. He looks like he's going to be tier 2, maybe even tier 1 deck, depending on what else is released. So I'm very excited for it, and I want to get into him now before everything starts like skyrocketing in price. So I've kind of made a deck list, kind of, you know, trying to feel it out. And I have a game here today to just kind of show you the end of, to show you like what it can really do. And so yeah, go ahead and get into it. All right, so here we have the kind of like end of this game. He's up 3 life, and I decide I'm like, all right, I don't want him to have an attacker just in case this whole attack doesn't work. So I'm going to get rid of his smoker, and then I have Douglas Bullet out. I played him last turn. And I have Douglas Bullet in this deck specifically for this, resting blockers. And then I attack with him. Now, in hindsight, I don't think I should have attacked here with 12. I think 10 would have been fine, double attack. But that's just hindsight. So I'm like, I want to make sure that I get this double attack in. Otherwise, I lose the game. So I double attack. Uh, he impact waves my blocker, which really sucks. Like, it is very detrimental. And um, you know, you'll see what happens here in a second. So then I'm like, all right, cool. I have his blocker rested. I have him double attacked. Now I'm gonna attack, make sure he takes this life, right? I know if he has a 2K, like if he has another impact wave or something, which is why I'm assuming he has 2 Dawn left. Um, I want him to take it, or at least have to get rid of another card so that my 5K attack will go through. So he takes it. And I'm like, okay, I could put 2 Dawn on him and attack for 7, but I know he probably has Impact Wave. So I want to make sure that I have Dawn left for counter in case he does decide to just kind of like go all out. And he does have an impact wave, so I really dodged that there. And no matter what, my Miss All Sunday would have been gone, obviously, because that would have killed it. So it's fine. But I have 7K counter in my hand, plus I'm gonna draw 1 card with Level Up Beam, so I'm kind of like gambling here that I get like another Gum Gum Rain. Um, but doesn't doesn't appear that I will. And he takes forever to take his turn. So he ends up -3 cost to my Douglas Bullet. So he sees that. He's like, I don't want him to rest my blocker and attack. So he gets rid of my Douglas Bullet. That does suck. That does make it a lot harder. Um, but thankfully, he wastes a lot of Dawn on that. And he gets rid of his Kuzan, which is very interesting. I don't know how long he had that in his hand, but either way, he gets rid of Kuzan to do this, to KO my Douglas Bullet, and then he's going to try and attack me. This guy took forever. He really thought through all of his moves. I guess he was thinking, should I go all out like and attack him, or should I try and attack uh, uh, King? And he attacks me, but it doesn't really matter, no matter what. So now, this is why I have another Douglas Bullet. Boom. I actually drew him off of my last life, and I was kind of like, oh, I can't believe I got this, but he came in clutch. So I just rest his blocker, whatever, I rest the other guy as well, and then I attack for 7. And I know he has 2 cards in hand, so I'm like, he's either going to trash 2 cards to block this, and then I just attack with Crocodile, or he takes it and I win. So it's just kind of like I win, and then I win, and that's it. That's game. So I went from down 3 life to winning the game. And I think that again, that shows kind of the power of Blue Purple Crocodile of this deck list. Um, and I'm gonna go in through it right now. All right, so Blue Purple Crocodile, I've like I said, settled on him as kind of like my just weird, just fun to play. Honestly, the deck is so fun. Like it's about 50-50. I've seen like genuinely I lose 50% of the games, but I win 50% of the games against anyone. It can beat anyone if you play it right and you get the right draws. Um, I think one of blue, which this is mainly blue, I think one of blue's toughest matchups is into black. And as you just saw, I kind of went crazy on the smoker player who was honestly playing really solid. He was definitely doing everything he did. Every time I tried to build a board, he would just remove it instantly. Um, but anyway, this list I've kind of settled on. I've tried a bunch of different variations. I've tried like a mainly impel down list where like blue and purple have impel down, and I have the impel down stage to search for all that stuff. And then I've had um, you know just blue impel down, mainly blue with just like 9 cost Rush Kaido, and then some kings and some queens, and of course Hell's Judgment. I've just settled on this, and here's why. So I love the Impel Down package in Blurple Crocodile. It's so good because the main struggle that any blue deck has is they don't play cards. Like the tempo is just playing 1 card per turn. So against people like green who can rest your cards and then attack them, which it's different there because um, you know, you just kind of wait until they can't do that almost. And then uh, against what's it called? Um, Black, like you just saw, who can just pop your cards. It really sucks. But this doesn't really have as big of a problem. Now, you'll see. So anyway, I started off thinking I want beaters in this. Like I want big characters who can really pack a punch. So I immediately went to Douglas Bullet. And like you guys saw, he's not just a big hitter. He's very, very good utility. I think his effect is so good. You don't even have to use it like when you're attacking. You just use it whenever because it's activate main. Dawn -4, which works perfectly with 3,000 worlds, which costs 4 Dawn. Um, Rest 2 of your opponent's characters with 6 cost or less. Now, the best blockers in the game are like Borsalino, 4 cost. Queens, 5 cost. Uh, you know, Boa Hancock, 4 cost. Stuff like that. And not even just that, you can use it to rest characters that like you need to attack. That people like Kuzans, or not Kuzans, yeah, like the 4 cost Kuzan. Rest that, attack it. Because this is the other thing, it's different than this, Bluefy. Um, this is when you're attacking. It's on play or when attacking. This is just rest characters. So again, you can rest the character first and then choose to attack it with bullet. Um, but mainly I use him to swing at life or like big moms and stuff like that. Next I have Z. Uh, I can totally understand taking Z out for something else. I would suggest the 6 cost promo Law because, especially against a Whitebeard, having a big hitter and then Law, uh, what I found a really good combo there is because it's kind of like a thing I tested out. Um, on your last turn, if you already have, like, what would be the last turn? If you already have Bullet out, you can play Law, have them take that 1 life that they didn't take, right? Because they uh, had what's his name, a 9 cost Whitebeard out. So they take the life then, and then you attack with like 10-7-7 would be like 10-7-7-6 or something like that. So like they have to sacrifice so much to block that. But Z himself, I think, really works well because I put him in here as kind of like a tech card almost as well, because um, when battling a strike attribute, which is attack or defense, he gets plus 3k, which a lot of really good cards are strike attribute characters. I mean, your Katakuris, every Katakuri, strike attribute. Every Luffy, strike attribute. Garp, strike attribute. All this stuff. He gets just a free. He's just a free or a 7 cost 11k. And then also when you're attacking, you can do plus 2k. So he would be 13k for one Don, for sacrificing one Don. So like Katakuri, right? He's my finisher against Katakuri, not really Bullet. I'll have Bullet out there mainly for the double attack, but honestly, I don't even. Like I sacrifice Bullet for like a Gum Gum Rain if I have a Z in my hand, because this kind of does a similar thing in that he can remove a character, remove a blocker, which Katakuri doesn't have that many blockers, but also he has that double attack. So when I'm playing the Katakuri leader, I put all my Dawn on this Luffy, double attack, and then Dawn -1 here, attacking for 13k. And it always works. I don't think I've ever lost with that combo. Um, then I have these Kings, kind of a tech card as well, but still a 7k attacker. 7k is obviously the magic number here. I have 4 sets of people who attack for 7k. And he's really good because you know, you play him on curve, and he's really good against Zoro, which is another horrible matchup into blue purple. Blue or purple is Zoro. So he gets to really shine here, this king. That's why I have 2 copies of him, because he'll be able to kind of deal with Zoro and even Law and Kinemon. So very good. I like him a lot in this. Then I have, rounding out the attackers, I have the Impel Down package. I have Luffy. Of course, I already touched on him. He's trash 2 cards to bounce a character with cost 4 or less, and then he gets double attack. So you don't have to sacrifice Don, but you do have to sacrifice cards. But thankfully, leader effect, we draw cards. I have lots of draw power. I still have Ivankov, who is what makes this. It's kind of the glue that holds this deck together, and then the Bullet in Z is kind of the stuff that makes it good. But Ivankov, you draw cards until you have 3 cards in hand on play, and then also you play a blue Impel Down type character with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. Hey, guess what? Look at that, Luffy. But if we don't have a Luffy in our hand, or we just don't really see the need, um, whatever. We don't have a Luffy in our basically if we don't have a Luffy in our hand, because you're always gonna want to play Luffy with Ivankov. I have this Crocodile in here. Worst case scenario, it's a 1k counter. Best case scenario, you get to play it on curves. You can play it on turn 3 if you go first, and then you can play Ivankov, and then you can play Luffy with Ivankov, and you have 3 attackers for 7k, and then you can play your Z or your Bullet. And then I have Mr. 3, who is a really good card. You can sub this card out for the other Impel Down blocker. His name escapes me. Yes, this Inazuma. You could put him in there. I can definitely see a world in which he is here instead of Mr. 3. But I like the idea of being able to attack with him and then set him as active. And the fact that I can willingly trash a card from my hand, um, it actually works really well, because it's only happened like once, realistically, but there has been one time when I have 6 cards in hand, and I obviously don't want that because I want to get leader effect, and I had like an extra Bullet or like a Z, and I didn't really need Z. So I just trashed it from my hand to set it. Like, he didn't even get set as active. I just trashed it from my hand, and then I got my effect in off of my Hell's Judgment, and I ended up drawing like some. I ended up drawing the Luffy that I needed for my Ivankov, stuff like that. So it really works out in the end. Um, but of course, that's not realistic that you're gonna just use it as a way to trash cards. Um, but he's still good. He's a 5k attacker that you can then set as active and block. Um, so that's it for like attackers really, and like the mainstays of the deck. Now we get into more things that are kind of iffy, or another mainstay would probably be Miss All Sunday, but that's kind of like, she is another great part of the deck. If your leader has Baroque Works, return an event card from your trash to your hand. amazing, and the best part about it, it's on KO, not on block. So against black, you saw in the video the clip that I got KO'd. She got KO'd, and I still was able to put a Gum Gum Rain in my hand or whatever it was. So very good blocker. This is just perfect in this deck. Um, then we have another blocker, Trafalgar Law. It's kind of I have four of him in there because you want to play him first turn. And he's very good against like Zoro and stuff like that. Like it's just a one cost blocker. It's kind of a staple in most blue decks. Um, and it just helps you play on curve, right? If you play first, you get to play. It's an amazing curve because you have Law into Miss All Sunday, into Crocodile, into Ivankov, which plays Luffy, into Bullet, and other stuff. So really good curve. Um, so he's really good turn one play, or if you go second as well, you can play him, put a Dawn on him, or play him, still have 2K counter, right? If you have this spot. And then I have Jack. I play him a lot in any purple deck because it's a way to ramp. It's just one Dawn, but it helps you get on curve, right? So like if you go second, it helps you get on that odd curve. And also you're then, an extra Dawn in front of your opponent. And it's as active, so it really helps with playing events and stuff. Like if I want to attach one here, and then I want to, I have 4 Dawn, I attach one here, attack for 6, and I have Dawn times 1 for leader effect. Then I play Jack um, to basically get a Dawn back as active, and then I can play Desert Spada, and then draw a card. Which I guess I didn't talk about this, but in case you don't know, leader ability is Dawn times 1. So if you attach one Dawn, when you activate an event, you may draw 1 card if you have 4 or less cards in your hand and haven't drawn a card using this leader's effect during this turn. So this is just like a custom alt art that I kind of just like digitally like kind of edited in. So nothing crazy, but it's kind of cool. I do like Crocodile, and he's probably the most fun I have playing this game is playing this leader. Then we get into events. So I have a plethora of events here. Most of them are counter, as you can see. I have 3,000 worlds, set 3 cards. So, if you're looking to play this in set 2, don't run 3,000 worlds, but you can run um, Sables, which is right here. Return a character with cost 7 or less to the owner's hand. It's very good. I do like it. I played it a lot in set 1. And as well, you could play Arabesque Breakfast, which will return a character with cost 4 less than the owner's hand, but it's 2 cost instead of 4, so you're not sacrificing as much. But when set 3 comes out and you do like this list, definitely run this card because I think it's going to be great in every single blue deck, just because you can bottom deck a character with cost 5 or less, which again, as you saw, I did that to the opponent's Smoker, which if I had let him stay, the game would have been over the next turn because he just would have had too good of an attack. So, definitely a really good card. And again, it's an event. The bounce aspect to this deck, it's in events. So I can activate my ability and draw a card on my turn. Um, then, of course, I have Desert Spada. It's plus 2k, but also the reason I have this over, like, um, I don't really know what I'd put over it, but the reason I have this is I guess I could put in like this, which is uh, or not this, this. I can trash a card from my hand. The leader gets plus 4k. I guess there are some purple events as well I could put in here, but this is great because I can look at the top 3 cards of my deck and rearrange them or put them at the bottom of my deck so I can kind of see what I'm going to draw. And it works really well because I can put this in there and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to need another Gum Gum Rain, right? Like a couple times I've been playing, I'm kind of gambling on taking a hit or not. Like it's the last hit, they're hitting for a lot, and I'm like, I need to, draw this card. Like I need to have a Gum Gum Rain or I need to have a Love Beam in order to live this attack. Boom, right there. I can set it up. Um, then of course, Gum Gum Rain. Here it is. 0 cost event. Really great in this deck because I get draw power for playing events, and this event trashes a card from my hand. Uh, And so because there's not a lot of counter in my deck, I'm okay with sacrificing a lot of the cards. Like I'm not like, ooh, I really want this 2K counter because there are no 2K counters in this deck. As well as a lot of events, which I can bring back from my trash with Miss All Sunday. So if I have like one or two Miss All Sundays established, I can like trash this and then trash another Gum Gum Rain if it's clogging up my hand, or trash this, trash a Love Love Beam, or Spot or something like that. Then Love Love Beam, of course, it is very good. I think you should always run one of them at least in every blue deck, just because of how good it is. In blue, because you're playing not many cards per turn, you're going to be dumping your hand to try and defend your board, and this lets you draw a card if you have three or less cards in your hand. Then again, of course, I have multiple things that I want to trash cards for: Luffy's Effect, Gum Gum Rain, stuff like that. I'll be trashing cards. This will let me draw another card when I get low. Um, and also leader ability, when I activate this on counter, uh, I can draw two. It's very nice. Then Hill's Judgment. If you have access to purple, I think you should always run this because it's just kind of, I think, the best counter event in the game, possibly. At least in my opinion, because you're giving two characters minus 3,000. That is so big, and it's amazing against Zoro, and it's amazing against Kinemon, all that stuff like that has a lot of little attackers, or even like people who have like multiple 7K attackers. Like if you're playing a mirror match, this is really good because you're taking away two of their 7K attackers, or they have to use Dawn on them when they otherwise probably wouldn't want to. And it's only for Dawn -1. It kind of throws you off curve. So if you have to play it early, it'll throw you off curve. But again, that's why you have jacks. So it's not too bad. And as well, an even curve isn't the worst thing in the world because you can play this on an even curve. You can play this on an even curve. You can play this on an even curve. And then you can always play this to get back on the odd curve. You can play all this stuff. Even curve is not too bad. Um, but yeah, so that's the deck list here. I've had some success with it. Again, it's not the best. I wouldn't put it like if you took it to locals, maybe you might win. Uh, maybe. It does struggle kind of against Zoro. But honestly, I can consistently beat basically anyone with this deck, and I consistently have beaten a lot of people with this deck. Uh, really, the only person I struggle with is Zoro. But people like your Kuros, like even set three leaders, Kuro, Big Mom, Katakuri, stuff like that. I beat them pretty easily. And same thing with Whitebeard. Like honestly, I beat Whitebeard pretty easily with this. Um, you just, because of Bullet, right? The Whitebeard matchup is so good because you can just drop a bullet down, rest his characters, and then double attack him or attack him for a lot. So like when he's on 0 life, you rest his two pesky Marco blockers, uh, and attack him for like 20K. Or I guess you can't because it'd be Dawn -4, but still 16K. I mean, like, come on. It's pretty amazing. Um, but yeah, other than that, this is the deck list. I also think the main thing about this deck list, it's really fun. It's very, very, very fun. And I definitely enjoy it a lot. So I would definitely recommend this playing, especially if you're like a casual player, because this is a pretty cheap deck. Like you could totally build this for not a lot. I know like the Alt Art Leader right now, I think is going up in stock, but that's because set 4 has a lot of really good cards, which I can make a separate video. Let me know if you want to see a separate video about like a possible blue purple crocodile deck for set 4. Um, and like I would probably keep the same for the majority of the cards, but then change just a few. So let me know if you want to hear about that.